Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, a person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government is an idiot.
Okay, now, before you start, or as you start reading this old book, or this particular section, I need for you to kind of be on the lookout for for how the author is persuading us to agree with what he believes or feels that others should believe. We call it persuasion, persuasive techniques, or which persuasive techniques is he employing here. There are about 18 that he or an author can use. There may be more, but I'm aware of about 18. We're going to try to cover as many of them that are relevant as possible. We're not going to deal with the ones that aren't relevant, simply because we won't have examples, relevant examples that we can refer to. So as you read, I need for you to try to find them, okay? So one of the first and the most obvious ways of persuasion is the use of appeals. Yes, A-P-P-E-A-L. S. And an appeal is simply when an author tries to get you to view a subject or a topic based on your fear or happiness or your desires, like your desire to be healthy, your desire to have money, your desire to be free, like freedom, or your desire to not ever have to work again, or your desire to work in the field that you want to work in, so forth and so on. When an author uses this type of persuasive technique, he's trying to really get you to relate to what he's saying by, and we can use this word, appealing to what he feels that you like, or what he thinks that a normal or people in general like or want. We call that an appeal. Advertisers do it all the time when they're trying to get you to buy a product. You know, they appeal to all aspects of your desires and your wants in order to get you to see that this product is what you need. Of course, we're not talking about advertisement, but we are talking about literature. And I need you to stay focused and aware of if the author is using that particular persuasive technique in his writings. The next technique that I want to discuss is evidence, and that is, of course, not really a whole bunch to explain there. Evidence is when you present facts in order to support your position, and of course, if the fact is a universal fact that everyone knows about, or everyone can agree with, then you're probably going to persuade someone to take your side or to agree with you. Another way to get someone or persuade someone to agree with you is to make attacks. And this attack someone else's character or someone else's belief system, but that really only works when you're talking with someone who you know is going to agree with your attack. Another way is inclusive and exclusive language. And if the author is trying to persuade you to agree, they're going to use language that's going to make you feel like you are with them or part of them. And for example, if you're trying to persuade someone against the tyrant, then of course you would use language like freedom and these different things, and things that people can relate to and they may agree with you. Another persuasive point is rhetorical questions. That, of course, is when the author asks you a question that he knows you're not going to be able to answer, obviously, because you're not there, and doesn't necessarily want you to answer the question, but wants to put that question in your mind, because usually what an author does is answers the question later, and hopefully in this from the author's perspective, hopefully in answering that question that you would have come to the same conclusion. Cause and effect is another way that an author uses as far as a persuasive technique to show you the problem and what happens when that problem, after that problem takes place. And of course, this is a way of generating some type of validity to whatever the argument is. Connotations, of course, and we know connotation, the opposite of denotation. All words have definitions in the dictionary. Those are called denotations. The denotative meaning of the word. But then a lot of words have definitions or meanings that are not in the dictionary but are applied to that word by various means. We call those connotative meanings. And generalizations, which some authors use. And I remember when I was in university, I used to have professors that would really warn me about doing the whole generalizing, saying all people or everyone, or saying that group or so forth and so on, because we know we can't generalize. Very rarely you will find even a small group of people with the exact same belief systems. So you can't ever generalize when you're doing that. But some authors will do that knowing that they shouldn't, only because only to keep them from having to give you the proof or the specifics. They just say, well, that group or those people, and if you kind of agree, then of course you're going to be persuaded to whatever the author is discussing. Humor is, of course, is a really good persuasive technique. Always making someone laugh, making them feel good, is always going to get them possibly to agree with you at some point. So forth and so on. I don't want to go through all of them. I'm trying to look for one that I don't want to go through all of them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a list of persuasive techniques under this video, and I want you to, as you read, to try to decide which one of them, if all of them, I don't know. That's for you. That's for you to find out. If the author uses, or which ones the author uses. Now, the reason that we're doing this activity is because you as an author, because of course you're going to be an author whether you like it or not, you are going to be an author. You are going to have to persuade someone, because argumentative essays is really, the foundation of essay writing that we do in our class. So eventually you're going to have to be that author that persuades someone. You have to think about which one of these techniques are you going to employ. So as you're reading and you're looking at how an established author uses these techniques, then you too should try to learn from that and try to apply that particular style of persuasive technique usage that the author does. It's a learning experience. You need to, not only should you familiarize yourself with the persuasive techniques, but you should also, make an attempt to apply them in the way that an established author does. Now, you don't have to write exactly like the author, but, you have a really good idea of how it's done, because obviously if we're reading that book in this class, then the author probably did something right, so you can learn from that. At any rate, persuasive techniques is what we're going to be talking about in this section of the course. So utilize the information.
In Islamic school. I'll talk about tomorrow. quite that hard. We want to get one of them little minibuses.
Welcome to the newtimeflash.com. Welcome to the newtimeflash.com.
Oh yeah. All right. Check this out.
I would not be asking any one of you to take this leap if I did not have complete faith in your ability to succeed. Your courage will never be more needed than it is today.
I tell you what, a person who believes that this wasn't set up by our own government is an idiot.